Here we are, another Wednesday, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm exhausted, man. Like, really, just tired, struggling to get out of bed, and not having the exact urge to continue to go to work when it seems the people in charge, they just like to pound us. It seems like very unfair, and seems like we do so much that it's not worth it at the end of the day. So it just reminded me of a couple verses from the Bible. So, and I'm gonna get to that later. But in my last video, I kind of had an introduction and talked about how I was saved when Jesus came into my life. So now this just got me thinking of at the time when I decided to leave the nest, and I ended up moving from Chicago to North Carolina, and I stayed there for about a year, and I enjoyed the scenery out there much more better than Chicago. Green, had random people just waving, smiling at me when I go to the store. Like, hello. I'm like, you talking to me? Like, Chicago, we don't really do that. I'm not used to that from strangers, so the vibe was different out there for sure. And I go for it. So I enjoyed my time out there, and I think it was all meant to be, part of God's plan. Just some things happened the way it did where I had to come back to Chicago, because it was just a combination of things playing out where it felt like I was fighting the current the more I tried to stay. And at that point, when you just let go and just leave it up to God, then it's easier. You just go with the wind. So why I bring that up is because the reason why I tried to stay out in Carolina is I was looking for another house to rent, because in my mind the houses were cheaper in the south than compared to the north, and that can be true to some degree, but man, like, some of these people I don't understand, because at the time my mom, she came for a bit helping me find a place. If not, we were gonna move back to Chicago, and we had this tour for a nice 2-bedroom townhouse. The rent seemed fair to me, only $1,400, so I'm thinking it's a steal. We go in there and we get this greedy Asian landlord, and I'm just letting everything go. I want the house, but it's very dirty inside. My mom, she noticed that right away. So I'm just letting it go. I'm like, let's see what he offers. And when the guy, he looks down at the end, I'm like, okay, we got everything set here? He goes, yeah, I need 2,000 security with credit score. Credit? You got fruit flies in the bedroom, and you want to talk about credit? Come on. That's when we were like, no, this isn't the place. And another thing, when I was looking for places, who came up with the idea you got to make 3 times the rent for your paycheck? 3 times. Who came up with that? That's just ridiculous. It's absolutely unbelievable. I don't know if people can afford. They gotta live together. It's none of your business how much more I'm making than the rent, as long as the rent gets paid. That's all you should care about. But I noticed that with some houses, especially the requirements of what these landlords are asking for, and it's ridiculous. It really is. So that reminded me of this particular verse, and I'm still gonna get to that, but fast forward, I ended up moving back to Chicago, and I got hired at this other job, It's seemed very promising. 4-day week, which I like. I like my weekends, and Friday was an extra day, so 3-day weekend. Can't really beat that. And very close to my grandpa, so it was a win-win, it seemed like. But man, whew, my boss was this rich, greedy owner's son. Because I get some of these businesses, they want to take over. They pass it on to their kids, and it usually doesn't work out well from what I've been told and what I've seen. And like the son, he had some nice gestures for everyone's birthday. He would bring in a cake, wish you a happy birthday, have everybody sing to you. So not a bad gesture he did. Got a tractor coming, so it wasn't a bad gesture. But what really got me is every time he'd bring the cake in, he'd wish you a happy birthday. This guy, he would take the candles and save them for the next cake. Now, I grew up on the poorer side, barely middle class, but I ain't never seen nothing like that. Like, either he's a genius, or we just missed out on that. Because maybe my mom, she spared people by not letting them reuse the candles that I got a hold of, because I was licking the whole thing top to bottom. So maybe she spared them, but I ain't never seen nothing like that. You're gonna save the candles, and you're a boss at a company from the Dollar Tree? Really? I never seen that. Maybe he's smart, but if anyone's ever done that, please share. I'm curious about that. But so yeah, that was another sign, and just some crazy requirements he was asking. So I decided to leave that job because when he revealed to me how much my insurance would cost, and it was just an astronomical number that was absolutely ridiculous, and almost as much as what rent can cost where I'm from. So all this with these bosses and just what they're asking for, it reminded me of this verse, and I'm going to pull it up right now because I'm not going to pretend like I'm one of those Christians who memorize every verse in my head. If you do, God bless you. I'm jealous of you. I want to get to there. I know some, but... So it reminded me of Isaiah verse 10. And it says, "What sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. They deprive the poor of justice, and they deny the rights of the needy among my people." So if anybody's fed up with me, like the way the people in power have laws, like just take comfort from that verse, because God already knows. He foretold about this, and he talked about this. Something good to take comfort from. God's got this, and that's why we can't stop doing what we're supposed to do, going to work, helping out, taking care of our family, people we care for. We can't stop that because that's the way it is. And if a job's not right for you, like it hasn't been for me, then God's probably telling you to do something different. Because there'll be some people in your family who they really show their true colors. And when at the time I wasn't working, I had a bunch of different reactions from my family. I had family members telling me, "Oh, get a job, you bum. You're living in your grandpa's basement, just floundering, doing nothing." And a few months later, I get a job. They're like, "He's so good. He works so hard." No, that's not how it works. But I stay level-headed. I try to be calm. So it's better not to hold grudges against people. Just that really shows their true colors, some people. And that's why what helps me is I'm never going to please my family or people of this world. And I don't want to. You shouldn't want to. The only one we need to please, we should try to please, is God.